burgeoning and exploding in this miraculous sort of way.
The word's just spreading that it's a great place for Native students.
There's so many resources in like Native people and such a strong Native community at Yale. It's really, really inspiring just to have so many
international student.
guys.
Yeah, she needs to have a job.
It's a really exciting feeling to know that we are on the Yale campus. Like, we're present and we're here, and the Native community has just come such a long way.
My name is Amanda Chimslin, and I'm a senior in Davenport College, and my tribe is the Jamestown S'Klallam tribe in Sequim, Washington.
My name is Danae Dormy. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm Navajo.
Yate she Christian Najon Brown Yinishe, Kia Aninishne do Bilagana Bashin, Lisanana Dishido, Bilagana Deshanella, Besha Gay de Nasha. Hello, my name is Christian Najon Brown. I'm Dene Navajo. My maternal, I was born into the Tower House People clan from the white man, and my other clan is the Minigoat clan. I'm originally from Copper Mine, Arizona, but I now live in Phoenix. Yale was really different. For me, it's very far from home. It's 3,200 miles, exactly. I looked it up a lot of times, but Yale, first of all, had the best financial aid for me, which was awesome because we don't have to pay as much as I would have to go to another institution. But a lot of it was for me to go to the East Coast and get out of my comfort zone.
When I visited during Bulldog Days, I got to come to the NACC, and the group of people I met here were very welcoming, and it just seemed all picture perfect to me.
I know exactly why I chose Yale. So I didn't believe that I could go to an Ivy League college or school. When I was a kid, I was convinced I was going to go to just, a different university, probably closer to home, if not at home. And when I got to high school, a lot more people, including my parents, started encouraging me to maybe look into Ivy League schools for college. And I went to a program called College Horizon, and it was a major turning point for me because it was the program that made me realize that I was, first of all, capable of going to an Ivy League school, which is something that you don't hear very often at home, and there was a girl named Liz who lectured the group about her personal experience at Yale, and she talked about how she had a rough time at certain points, but it was like the best experience of her life, and she's so glad that she went there, and she just had the best speech I've ever heard. And so it like inspired me, and I was like moved to tears during the speech, and at that moment at College Horizons I decided that I like wanted to go to Yale, and Yale was the place I wanted to be because it had such a positive impact on all these people that I thought were really successful and I looked up to, so. There's so many awesome things about coming to Yale. I guess I love Yale, and I think the people are by far the most awesome part about Yale.
I really, really, really love the people here, and I know I can't say that enough.
It seems like every person at Yale has something so unique to bring to the table, and they all have their own like really interesting backgrounds and like really unique hobbies and really cool personalities, and like meeting these people was so amazing.
It was so amazing to meet all the people here, and just like the different viewpoints that Yale has. There's so many different people here from around the world. I have friends from Ethiopia, I have friends from Japan, my roommate was from Korea. I know a bunch of words in Korean now, and it's just all these like different factors all contributed to my decision to go here.
The type of education that Yale offers isn't just academic, it's like truly like a social experience, and I've learned about so many different people, and I've met so many different people.
I want people to know that it's a very safe and welcoming environment, and it's really important, especially at Yale, with such a prestigious university, that Native people are represented. I think we've come so far from our place in the 18th century where we had this idea of a disappearing Native American, and that we were coming dust and going into the wind. And the people here at Yale will eventually be future lawmakers, future policy workers. And it's really important that we have some representation of natives, so they have some idea of native issues when these people, along with our native students as well, get into these positions of power later in their lives. I think a lot of my fears were, before coming, it was just the distance. I've never been that far away from home before. And I have a really very tight-knit family in Arizona, where we had the reservation up there, and then in the city as well, my parents. So we see everyone a lot, and coming here I kind of lose that. I mean, no, my grandma lives without electricity or running water, so I can't, well, a lot of people can like Skype their parents, and I can Skype my parents now. After I like call them on the phone, you have to work through the technology. Like I can't do that with my grandma or grandpa or anyone back on the reservation because it's just not available. So the distance originally was like a scary moment for me. But then coming to Yale, I had the whole issue of culture shock because it was very different from back at home. We're much slower, and everything is thought about and kind, and the East Coast is very, 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 very fast-paced. Everything just keeps going constantly, and it took a while for me to get used to that.
I think I was definitely afraid of like the rigor academically, and just like scared that I wouldn't meet up to the challenge. But I definitely feel like since coming here, it shouldn't have been something I worried about as much, and that there's a lot of support systems here to make sure that you don't have those type of struggles.
If, as a like native student, like considering coming to an Ivy League school like on the East Coast, or even just a school anywhere that's away from home, is to not let your family members' fears talk you out of going to school, because I think that like I know my family wants the best for me, but we're just so close that we don't want to be separated. My grandma wants me to be really close to New Mexico. The Native community at Yale was a huge part of my freshman year here, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be a huge part of the rest of my Yale career. And it saved my it saved my butt a lot of times.
We really have community.
Here we kind of all just like meet together, and despite our differences, we can hang out and do homework together and watch TV together and play games.
I guess I would just describe it as a really good group of friends for me. Like, most of my really good friends are a part of the Native American Cultural Center in some way, shape, or form, and those were my best friends at Yale. So like it was a place that made me feel like at home.
I think my fondest memories are just coming to the house and like coming to the third floor and knowing that people will always be here, and that if I'm studying really late some night, I don't have to go to the library, that I can come and someone will be here studying and maybe watching TV, but like there will be someone here to like hang out with and have like just company.
We've had such big incoming classes that there's so many Native students on campus now that I think it's becoming more visible. And that's a really good thing, because people come to the events now and like that aren't Native, and it's so nice to just see like all of campus acknowledge the fact that there are Native students here, you know, that are their peers, and that we have a cultural center, and you know, we're willing to teach other people about our culture, about our different Native cultures.
Right now I'm very heavily involved with a lot of the issues. I was cultural center staff last year, so I got to meet all of the people who came. Last year I put on the dinner for the Navajo Nation Supreme Court, which is really cool. I met them in person and we had a very, very small discussion, along with other famous Native people such as Gary Farmer, Native comedy groups. And in addition to this, I also do ACES, which is American Indian Science and Engineering Society, and I'm hopefully presenting in Alaska at our national conference.
And I also think our faculty is a huge thing too, because we have 3 Native professors. One is Native Hawaiian, and then there's Alyssa Mount Pleasant and Ed Blackhawk, and they're definitely, I think we've all taken classes from them, and they're like definitely a large presence in our community. Like they come to dinners and they come to events, and I think that's a huge thing. Like they're not just there on the outskirts, but they're definitely involved and they're here for us.
I definitely had some really rough spots in my freshman year where things weren't looking so up, and I think we get so stressed out from school and from our own personal lives that the NACC is a really nice, it was always, I knew I could come here, no matter what time of day. I knew that I could just come and like sit on a couch at the NACC and like feel better, or sit in the library here at the NACC and study quietly, and I knew it was like my space, and that was a good feeling. And I think like the best feeling for me was, I remember having a really down day, and at the end of last year, and I was at the NACC beading with some of the other girls, and I had just learned how to bead, and I remember thinking that like it was gonna be okay because all these people were so nice, and we were so like connected because of the Native American Cultural Center, and like the house made me feel so much better that day. And yeah, I'm like I'm like making myself cry. Okay, keep going.
We have a dean who's here to make sure that we're getting like what we want culturally and intellectually from Yale, and that he's here to check on us emotionally, and it's just like we have so much support that I think it's amazing.
We have things like Native Food Night where we all go, and we made fry bread once, and it didn't really turn out too well. It's my first time making fry bread without my family, and it was hard, and the dough didn't work, and it was just like rock hard and everything, and everyone, and some of the people here, their tribes don't eat fry bread, which was amazing to me, because coming from the Southwest, it's like the one unifying like thing among all of our Native peoples. But for some people from the Northwest, they eat lots of fish and stuff, so they'd never had fry bread before, and here I was trying to make like the best fry bread, and it just turned out awful. And everyone refers to that time I made fry bread, so even no matter how far I go, it's always, oh, Chris Brown, I remember that time when you made that rock hard fry bread.
Right now, I'm eating Chris Brown's fry bread, and as you can see, other people are wanting it. This has never happened before. I thought Chris Brown was horrible at making fry bread.
He redeemed himself.
It was good, and after that I had to keep practicing, and now I'm making fry bread every time we have an event.
Okay, the most important thing that I think people should know about Native students at Yale is that we're all very different. I think that people categorize us as like Native students. They put us in one group, and technically we are in one cohesive group at the Native American Cultural Center, but we all, I mean, we have people from so many different tribes and so many different backgrounds, and we're all from all over the world.
Just being a part of the Native American Cultural Center has taught me about the different paths everyone is going in and how they want to give back to their Native community and the different ways they want to do that. Like Wade, he's doing archaeology, and that definitely has like strong like implications for his community, and like doing like Native digs potentially in the future. And like my sister wants to do Native law, and like I would potentially like to help with Native public health, and like Chris is pre-med and wants to help Natives that way. It's just so interesting to see all the different ways Yale is helping us to give back to our community.
We originally had a fair amount of Native students here, but my class was the largest of its time, and this class of 2016 that's coming up is the largest of its time now. So we're growing and expanding at these incredible rates, and people are being very involved in the community as well.
What's your impression of the Native community at Yale so far?
It's awesome. There's so many Natives.
Like, as incoming freshmen, like, what's it going?
An altogether new experience being an intellectual and like identity community at the same time.
Just walk away.
You're too Indian for me. Stop, please.
So I'm excited for the incoming Native freshman class. Like, there's 40 of them, which is the same as last year, but it's a huge number in comparison to, like, I think we had 15 members from the last class before that, and it's just exciting that so many Native freshmen want to come to Yale, and that our community is growing, and that we can get that like passion back into the house, and for our new house especially.
But the fact that we're getting our own house, we have so much room to expand and blossom. And like I said, we're on a tidal wave right now. I'm currently riding that tidal wave, and I want to just see the entire community explode. So we can be so represented on campus. We could have Native dance groups, we could have Native drum group. We can get spirituality, like Native spirituality, more involved in campus. Because these are really important issues, and people think that it's disappeared and it's gone, but it's not true. We're here right now, and we need to be represented.
And I think that with the new house especially, that it's just only going to continue to grow. And with our dean, who's only been here for 2 years, he definitely has like sparked a fire at Yale for Native students, and I just think it's only going to continue to grow.
As a member of the class of 2015, which is the largest incoming class of Native students in Yale history, it's a really exciting feeling to know that we are on the Yale campus. Like, we're present and we're here, and the Native community has just come such a long way from where it was before, and I'm so excited for the events that we're going to be capable of having now in our new house. I'm so excited for the groups that people are so I guess willing to start now under the NACC, and I'm also just like really excited for the enthusiasm in the classes to follow.
Hawi